Qantas is stepping on Air New Zealand's turf.
We've always called Air New Zealand our frenemy, so we're friends on a lot of things, but we're also very competitive. So we're going to be big commercial competitors on this route.
That route is Auckland to New York. Air New Zealand's new flagship flight has competition. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce says it's the airline's first flight from Auckland to an international destination outside of Australia in more than 2 decades. It was a bumpy start for Air New Zealand when it launched the flight last September, facing stiff winds that forced some passengers to travel without luggage and stops in Fiji to refuel. Alan Joyce says they'll have similar contingencies to Air New Zealand, but he thinks they'll have an upper hand.
Our aircraft is lighter, it has less seats on it, so it's likely to be able to travel longer distances. We already have 2 of the 5 longest routes in the world. This will be 3 of the top 5 longest routes in the world, and we have a speciality of doing it that gives us an advantage. And then finally, we have different engines on our aircraft than Air New Zealand, which are that little bit more efficient.
Air New Zealand has flown the route nearly 200 times since September. Chief of Corporate Affairs Matt Boland says demand is growing as more people are using the route not just to get to the States, but also through to Europe. As for other airlines entering their territory,
competition is good for both of us. Qantas is a good airline, so is Air New Zealand, so customers will win out of this. It'll sharpen price, it'll sharpen surface, and it'll raise the profile of the route, hopefully get more people flying, which again will only help more and more people see New Zealand.
The Qantas flight is currently selling for $2,100 return. Air New Zealand's fares are slightly more expensive at $2,400. Qantas is adamant competitive prices will be sticking around for Kiwis.
We will be very competitive on this route, and the intent is to continue with those type of airfares.
Qantas will also have more Trans-Tasman flights available from October. With smaller aircraft on the way, they'll also be flying from Brisbane to Wellington. The latest data from Stats New Zealand shows there was a 35% drop in New Zealanders travelling overseas in April this year compared to pre-COVID levels. International visitor numbers are also down around 30%. But Alan Joyce isn't worried, saying it will take time for the aviation industry to bounce back.
So we're back internationally at 85% of our pre-COVID capacity. We have more capacity on the Trans-Tasman to New Zealand to Australia than we had before COVID.
Qantas is set for takeoff to the Big Apple tomorrow afternoon, taking its first bite out of Air New Zealand's market.